Yeah, 2024 has been a pretty rough year for logistics
Yeah.
on a number of fronts. First of all, the suspension of the Papua LNG project has really put everything on hold.
Yes.
So assets we brought in specifically to cater to that in the maritime side have had to find alternative employment, which successfully has been done, but that obviously wasn't part of the original plan.
Yeah.
We've had the fuel crisis this year with the cessation of imports of Jet A1
Yes.
through Puma. And that, of course, has hit us directly on the bottom line as we've been the primary carrier for a lot of that.
Yeah.
The stevedoring business has been solid and the Pacific towing business has been very solid.
So, in the absence of any new projects, it's existing customers continuing to use your services?
Yeah, it's maintaining the status quo. We've had some assets out for life extension, some of our larger ships. During that process, of course, that degrades our capacity we can offer to the market. And in combination with some pretty adverse weather conditions that we've seen, particularly around the Leh area, that has impacted our schedule reliability. So that, coupled with a reduction in capacity earlier in the year, has also had a negative effect on us. But that's all back in service now.
Yes.
We're coming out of the weather period now and starting to pick up. Volumes are strong, continuing to increase as we go into next year.
Yeah. What sort of factor are we looking at as far as volume growth is concerned in the shipping?
It's it's difficult to say what the total market growth is, but in terms of our year-on-year growth, that's been satisfactory.
Yeah. And as far, what about the mix of what you're carrying? Are you seeing any changes there?
No, it's relatively unchanged.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So looking forward to next year, how are you preparing for trading conditions over the next 12 months? You mentioned, for example, you brought in some equipment that you were hoping to deploy on Papua LNG, but are you tooling up? Or are you getting ready in that respect? Or what investment are you planning?
It's all about being ready for when everything kicks off. So those additional assets are deployed out to other customers right now that we can bring back in as and when we're ready. We are looking to bring in additional tonnage as well to supplement our existing product, make that more reliable. I think our key for 2025 will be about on-time performance, maintaining our connectivity, particularly between Port Moresby and Leh, but also the outer islands on the shipping side, and also increasing our reliability on the trucking side of the business with new assets coming in to support that.
Yes.
As I say, our Pacific towing business remains strong. We're operating with our existing tonnage, which a number of those assets have been through life extension again this year. So it's a continuous reinvestment in the various asset platforms that we have, ensuring that we're ready for when things start to uptick again.
I'm conscious that PNG is just a small freight market in what is obviously a large regional player, and you have businesses in the Swire portfolio that are taking international services in and out of PNG. Are there international factors at play in your business that affect what you do, or even drive your innovation or your business practices?
Yeah, I mean, our primary market is obviously the domestic business, and we, as you rightly say, we dovetail with all our international partners, not just the Swire Group. Of course, they do contribute a significant amount, and where we can connect our domestic product with their international product that satisfies both our and their customers. That's particularly important. It's about maintaining that bridgehead into the country and making sure that we can combine the Swire Group activities to give a superior product in terms of delivery, reliability, etc.
One of the big challenges in PNG that other people have been talking to us about in the last week has been skills. Are you finding that finding skilled workers in your sector is a challenge, or are you able to meet the requirements of your business? And if so, what are you doing to help address that demand?
I'll start on the shipping side again. That is definitely a shortage category, but it's not just a shortage category in country, it's a global shortage.
Right.
Obviously we have our nautical colleges here in country, but that simply cannot meet the demand that we require, both ourselves and our competition, for qualified, competent seafaring staff. We address that through cadet programs and developing the next generation, both in our towing business and in our coastal services business. We educate those individuals either in country or we provide cadetships overseas. We're training them in South Africa, we're training them in Fiji.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We have a Solomon Islands cadetship program that supports our Solomon Island business as well. But long story short, it's not just our issue, it's the issue for our other service providers, our competitors. There is a chronic shortage of qualified seafarers in country. Right. On the land side of things, we're also doing some apprenticeship programs. So we're developing skills in some of the mechanical trades, which is to support our own activities naturally, but of course it's adding to the gene pool of competent individuals. As part of some of our future strategies, we have this joint venture we've established, Papua Transport.
Oh, just down the road with the landowning
with
company,
the Laba group. Part of that strategy, as and when again Papua LNG gets up and running, is to build skills across all different areas. So that's driving skills, that's mechanical skills, electronic skills, etc.
Got it.
In the local workforce.
East West Transport, there are particular challenges transporting things around this country. They're well recorded, but it would be interesting for our purposes to maybe for us to get a sense of where you see the key challenges are operating a transportation company of that kind in this market. Sure. And again, how you mitigate.
Yeah. It is, traditionally transport is a low barrier to entry market.
Yeah.
Anyone can get a truck and a trailer. That's not difficult. What the complication then comes into in terms of competent maintenance, competent driving capabilities, safety. And safety for us is critical, especially dealing with our oil major partners when we look at our fuel transport side. So that level of safety, which is a consistent message across the entire steamships activity, has to be priority number one. That comes at a cost.
Yes.
It comes in terms of standard of equipment, standards of training, standards of auditing, and that's where we believe that's a non-negotiable hygiene factor for us. It's a well-populated market. There's plenty of stiff competition there.
Yeah.
So it's all about on-time delivery and meeting customer satisfaction at the end of the day.
Anecdotally, somebody was telling me the other day that maybe there's less competition in that area. Or are you still finding the competition is holding up?
No, competition is holding up.
Yeah.
Most definitely. As I said, anyone can enter this market, and there are some big names in the market indeed. It's a healthy competition. I think there's nothing wrong with that. It keeps us all honest. And there are initiatives that we can pursue. So we're pursuing the Trusted Trader program together with Customs. That gives us an opportunity to be able to move goods under bond off wharf into an off dock situation, which reduces some cost to the ultimate consignee, allows things to be stripped in their own time without having to get things off the wharf and pay a lot of money.
Yep.
As I said, we're investing in new assets on the trucking side as well. That's a little bit of a fleet renewal on the one hand, but it's also positioning ourselves for growth. And that also allows us to move assets into some of our outlying locations around the country.
How far are we away from having regular trucking service that go up and down a safe, open Highlands Highway? Is it just pie in the sky, or is it a real...
I can't comment on that because we're not playing in that space.
No.
So that's...
But if it was there, you would, presumably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, there's never a dull day in logistics anywhere in the world, and particularly in this country.
Yeah.
So yes, we have encounters quite regularly, both on the security side and the safety side.
So you mentioned that shipping volumes are reasonably stable. It's the same true in trucking. Are you seeing any increase or decrease, or are there any trends in that area?
I mentioned the Jet A1 reduction. Those Jet A1 shipments have now changed from bulk shipments to containerized shipments coming in from Australia. Yeah. And those will need to go by road. So the volumes are there.
Right, so that's new business effectively.
It's just a change of business from tanker trucks into containerization. So the volume is still present.
So PNG is often characterised as a high-cost economy, and there are impediments in the marketplace, which we'll cover off in a second, which clearly add to your costs. How do you maintain your margins in your part of the business? What are the key ways of making sure that, because obviously there's also limits to how much you can raise prices given the cost. So how do you address that margin challenge?
It's about ruthless cost efficiency, and procurement is a big one.
Yeah.
We're all aware of our challenges with foreign exchange and trying to get material in from international sources.
Yeah.
That gives us huge lead times.
Yeah.
So it's about having very comprehensive maintenance programs where you're buying your spare parts in good time, plenty of time, rather than lastminute.com, where you're paying premium prices for air freight and trying to rush things through customs, etc. But you're still handcuffed with a foreign exchange issue.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. So you're definitely paying a premium price for the assets that you bring into country and the assets you have to maintain in country. So whether you're in aviation, in shipping or in transport, the issues are still the same. It's having that international experience and competence.